Have your tax withholding practices kept up with the latest trends? Let's find out. My first trend is that most companies choose to withhold shares to cover taxes due on RSU awards. Close to 80% of companies use this method for their U.S. award transactions. And among those companies, 3/4 use this method for all or nearly all of their U.S. award transactions. And the data for non-U.S. transactions is really not that far behind. On the other hand, only 30% of companies utilize sell to cover for U.S. award transactions. It is true, however, that those companies that use sell to cover are committed to it. Most use it for all or nearly all of their award transactions. Now, when companies are withholding shares to cover taxes due on RSU awards, the amount of shares that need to be withheld almost never works out to be a whole share. There's always a little fraction that the company has to deal with. You can see here on my pie chart that over 80% of companies will round that fraction up to the nearest whole share. That will result in a little bit of extra value that exceeds the amount of withholding that's due. Most companies will just include that extra value with the employee's tax payment, but some companies do choose to refund it to the employee. Another thing I want to point out here is that 7% of companies actually pay out the fraction. This is a relatively new practice, but it's something I think we're going to see grow in the next few years, especially for companies with high stock prices. My last trend is that we've seen some fairly significant growth in the percentage of companies that utilize a prior day price, typically the prior day close, to determine the value of RSUs for tax purposes. Now, make no mistake, current day pricing, usually the current day close, is by far still the predominant approach. But we have seen a 170% increase in the percentage of companies using prior day close to value their RSUs since 2016. I think a lot of that growth has been driven by the transition to T+1, but I also think that companies who have made the shift to prior day close really like having an extra 24 hours to calculate their tax withholding and make the deposit with the IRS. So I think we may still see some movement in this area going forward. So those are just 3 of the great trends that we unveiled in the results of our Equity Administration Survey, which is administered by the NASPP and Deloitte Tax. Want to know some more trends? Have I got the webinar for you? Our NASPP webinar, Equity Award Tax Withholding Trends and Best Practices, covers the trends I just talked about and a whole host of other trends, like how companies determine tax rates inside the U.S. and globally, and how they manage mobility compliance. I really encourage you to check it out. We'll include a link in the show notes. I hope you enjoyed my video today. If you did, hey, why not share it on LinkedIn? Maybe your colleagues would be interested in these trends as well. And those shares really help us out. Win-win. Thanks for watching.